Welcome back.
Yeah, we're back. We're here.
We're here. Yeah.
We're alive.
I don't know how you're feeling, but I feel like the game releases, if I had to quantify it, are at a it's not even October, and we're at a fuck you amount of games are out.
Yeah, actually, it's kind of nice because so many have come out that I no longer give a shit about any of them anymore. I'm just going to do it at my own pace because I can't keep up. I just can't. So it is what it is.
I'm trying to keep up, and I have to pick my battles. That's
for
sure.
You're gonna fail, so like you better just pick the ones you like.
I'm still picking the ones I like, and I still am gonna fail.
Yep.
I'm not even done Act 1 of Baldur's Gate, and it's like, well, I guess I'm putting this aside for the next 50 hours.
So I was thinking the same thing, but then I was like, no, fuck that. I'm never going to remember the story or the characters or anything. I'm playing this until it's done, and then I'll move on. I can't do it with this one, because that story is way too in-depth for me now, that like I don't want to lose my spot in it, so everything else is taking a backseat.
What's really helping me with Baldur's Gate is that I can play it on the Steam Deck. So I can play it on the train, and I don't have to like sit down and set up get the PC all ready to go.
Sure.
Because with both the Xbox and the PlayStation having their like kind of quick resume and suspend states, the PC is the worst place for me to play games at this point. Because even the Steam Deck has a suspend state, so it takes so long for me to get a game going on the PC compared to anywhere else.
Sure.
But yeah, no, it's early access Starfield day. I got the like premium upgrade because it was going to come with the first like story DLC as well. So I could be playing Starfield right now.
It's true. People have been playing it all day today. I've seen lots of people on Twitch playing it all day. So, yep.
Well, it went live for everyone at for everyone with early access, not like the reviewers, but for the public at like 5 Pacific time.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, it's not out yet because I didn't pre-order it and I wasn't going to, so I'll wait until it's out.
Yeah, so you'll do next week. But it's like, hey, it's like a 3-day weekend. It's like, oh, this would be perfect, and it was really just that I would get the bonus story DLC. That was like, okay, this seems like it's kind of worth it.
I've heard good things about its performance so far, so that is making me happy to hear that when I get to it, it's not going to be a bug-addled mess, at least.
Yeah, I definitely feel like Xbox needed this one to hit.
Yes, they did.
Like, could you imagine if this didn't hit, where Xbox would be?
Yeah, like I don't even know.
Like I'm trying to even think like I guess they have Forza. That's kind of like niche in terms of like a mass appeal.
Yep.
And after Redfall, it was like they needed this one, man. Like they had so much riding on it. And I think it came in with like decent reviews. It's like moderately pretty high. Nothing like, it's not putting up Baldur's Gate numbers, not putting up Zelda numbers, but I feel like it's getting like kind of 8s across the board-ish on an average.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. The fact that like people aren't just complaining about how broken this Bethesda game is on launch is a big win for everybody. So that's great.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, hey, they delayed it like a few times, so I'm sure they were like, I'm sure they knew this was going to be important.
Yep.
But I mean, let's get into the show. Top-down perspective for August 31st. I'm Sean Booker.
I'm Paul Fleck.
And just to mention to people that you guys may have noticed, if you listen to the show on the free audio feed, ads have been put back into place. I guess they have for a little while, and I just didn't know because they didn't tell me.
Oh.
But they just popped back in there, and I learned last week. If you're a Patreon subscriber, though, we are still uploading the show over on the Patreon feed, so any level of the tier of Patreon gets you an ad-free version of this podcast. So something to consider.
Yeah.
But anyways, Paul, why don't you talk? You've been playing the big game. I didn't think you'd been playing the big game, but you just added it on there. What have you been playing?
So yeah, I mean, we talked about Baldur's Gate. I'm at Act 3, I was told you're at the point of no return between Act 2 and 3. So if there's stuff you wanted to do, you should go back and like look at that stuff. So I'm at that point where I'm going back and looking at stuff in Act 2 to make sure that I'm all good. So apparently I'm about at least 40 hours away from the end, because apparently Act 3 is the longest, and each other act has been about 20 to 30 hours. So I'm in the final stretch, which is about as long as 2 or 3 mid-tier length games. So that's awesome.
Yeah. What it seems like. Yeah, I'm still in Act 1. I'm in like the underground area. I met some like mushroom people.
Okay.
I'm gonna help them out.
Oh, okay. I was gonna ask, did you just like instantly kill them, or are you talking to them and are you chill? Did you pass the vibe check?
Yeah, I passed it. I pretty much go into every scenario trying not to kill them, and because I'm maining Karlach, I try to just threaten everyone into being nice to me.
Oh yeah, okay.
Because I know Sean outside of the game, if I get into a fight, I'm probably gonna lose because I suck at this game. And now I'm starting to wonder, like, because sometimes when I do that, my characters get a bunch of experience, and I was like, okay, that's good, because I probably would have gotten some experience if I had killed you. Right. Sometimes I'm not getting experience when I do that, so I'm wondering if I'm, like, under-leveled as I go on, when I get to a point where I'm not going to be able to threaten my way through a conflict.
Do you know what level you are, roughly?
4?
That, I can't remember where I was there. I think I was 5 or 6, so you're probably about roughly where I probably was, around the same level down there. 5 or 6, okay. Probably. So yeah, I don't think you're too far behind, if at all. So that's good. That's fine.
All right, that's good.
That game's cool. That game had a giant like main story thread, and then now I have just like 30 smaller cool threads. Then it just feels like it's never gonna end. But it's very cool. I love that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I picked up Armored Core 6. I needed to know. And I heard people say that tutorial boss is a real pain in the ass and that they rage quit. Boy, if you're one of those people saying that, you should refund this game, because it gets really fucked. That game is incredibly difficult in some of those fights. So, yeah, that game is weirdly difficult in a way that I haven't experienced in a FromSoft game in a while, because usually they do like Dark Souls stuff, and like once you kind of have the feel of how you move around those games, it's fine. This is extremely fast, and there is a lot of shit going on at all times. The combat is a little janky in some ways, but like it is completely different, because the game focuses around you changing out your mech parts to see like what build you can make to maybe like get through an area or a boss like better or whatever. So it's been a lot of trial and error and finding stuff I like, and I don't know that I found a lot of stuff that I like really like, but I found a bunch of stuff that worked, so that's been cool. Okay. I have been told that the meta right now is double shotguns, so I am trying not to do that, because apparently that makes the game trivial, but it's good to know that there is a way to ease my way through that game if I get too upset. So that's good, I guess, to have in my back pocket.
Have you played any of the previous ones?
Yeah, I've played all of them in a bit, and that was this year. I revisited all of them to kind of get ready for this, and they all play kind of like shit, because they're old and they're clanky, and a bunch of them were when 3D still wasn't like really found out how you should be doing 3D like movements and stuff on the PlayStation 1. So you were using like R1 and L1 to like look around, look left and right, sure. And R2 and L2 to look up and down, like just shit like that, right? That felt like really bad. But as they went on, they got better about that, and I think in the Xbox 360 era, Armored Core 4, they kind of figured out, oh, we could use this other stick to look around like every other game, and then they got like way better from that. This is just kind of the evolution of that stuff, but this is definitely way more frantic in how fast you move and stuff. And I don't know, I go between loving and hating that, because it feels like a lot of those stages are filled with fodder, like the MTs, which are basically just like the basic bitch mechs that you fight in the stage, and they're really easy to get through, but sometimes they can overwhelm you if you're out in the open and they just like all converge and fire on you. But they're like easy to kill, and then the bosses are way too hard to kill, and they do incredible amounts of damage to you and are extremely fast or whatever. So there is kind of a weird imbalance that game has that I think I don't love, but I like both parts of that imbalance enough that it's okay. Like, I like feeling like I'm just like going through a level, just murdering stuff and kind of like being the cool mech guy. And then I also like boss fights, so I kind of like having to bang my head against something and then that feeling of like I overcame this problem that I couldn't do. But the end of the first chapter boss took me like 4 hours to get through. Like, it was brutal. That boss is insane.
That's the helicopter?
No, that helicopter was like 2 or 3 tries. That was nothing. This boss...
Okay.
And then I started like looking around. I'm like, am I just stupid? Like, can I not understand this? Literally everybody's like, oh no, this boss is fucked. Like, this boss is crazy difficult. So I was like, okay, thank God.
Okay.
So yeah, if that helicopter boss is like hard for people, you like maybe just find another game, because it gets so frustrating later on. It gets so much worse. And like, I don't think there's not enough time in this life for you to be frustrated if like that's the frustrating thing for you right now. Just, yeah, that game's pretty fun though. But like, again, I put 11 hours into it. I'm in chapter 3, act 3, whatever. I think there's 5 or 6 chapters, I was told. So I was like, okay, but Baldur's Gate needs to finish because a million things are coming out, and that is kind of the big thing that has been burning the back of my skull for now. So I kind of put Armored Core down for now.
I feel like that's going to be a hard one to come back to because of all the like muscle memory.
Well, I don't think the muscle memory is there yet, so like it's fine. I kind of felt like I was flubbing my way through some of those fights. Also, I'm playing it on keyboard and mouse, and it feels kind of good on keyboard. It feels natural, so like it was pretty easy to pick up and play, which is good. Okay. I don't think I'm going to be able to go back to Baldur's Gate at some point, because I'll be like, oh, I don't remember what spells I have. Like, I don't remember what I was doing. So I kind of just want to get that done.
Okay.
Yeah. That's all, though, for me.
Just today, I finished up Immortals. I wanted to wrap that before Starfield hit.
They fixed it.
Last week they added a gamma slider, which allowed me to finally see stuff, which was great because I had entered like a really dark area in that game, and it was extremely hard to see what I was doing. Luckily, this game's kind of all about color, so even there was a lot of things that were kind of glowing, so I could make my way through it, but it just kind of sucked to do that. I did a gamma slider, that fixed everything. I also understand that they're going to be putting even more brightness adjustment settings in tomorrow.
Oh,
which does not help me because I'm done with that game. But for anyone just kind of keeping track of that, it should be fixed further. But I ended up quite enjoying my time with that game. I wish it looked better for me specifically throughout the whole thing, but I do think that game plays really well. And, you know, it's Metroidvania-esque, so there's a lot of reasons to go back to previous areas and fly around and find stuff. I would totally do that if it wasn't fall 2023 and all these games are coming out. So,
sure. Yep.
I wish I had more time to go and play more of that game, but it is what it is. I do think that game is cool, and I would recommend it for people.
Cool.
And then today, or I guess last night, I started up Goodbye Volcano High.
Okay.
This is the visual novel of teenage dinosaurs. It's been in development for a couple of years. You may have seen a trailer here or there. I've only put about an hour of it in so far. So I'm pretty much have played kind of the core concept that you would have gotten from the trailers. You're a high school student in a band, so there's some like, you know, really minor, some real minor rhythm mini games.
Okay.
But it is primarily a visual novel. I think the voice acting is good though. It's almost entirely fully voiced. There's just some like bonus conversations you can listen to that are not voice acted. I think the art's pretty good, seeing all the fun dinosaur designs, how they made these dinosaurs look like, I don't know, high school students, teenagers, yada yada. But yeah, the core premise is, at the same time, there is a meteor heading, or an asteroid heading to the Earth. They live on the continent of Pangea, So there's kind of a general implication of what the end of this game is going to be. And I'm
Sure.
just very curious how exactly they're going to handle that. Like, is it going to be like an alternate reality where it misses so that not everyone in this game gets wiped off the face of the earth?
Sure.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I'm curious. So they're already talking like, how come our cell phones are stopping working every now and then? There's some weird electromagnetic stuff going on, and then there's news reports of the meteor, so people are starting to get like scared. If you like games like Life is Strange, just uh, Night in the Woods, kind of just general teen angst drama, visual novel-esque stuff, I think you'll be into this. I'm digging it quite a bit, but I'm kind of just scratching the surface, so I will definitely talk about that more next week. Right now, it is my like before bed game.
Sure.
I'm using
Yeah.
the Steam Deck to remote into my PS5.
Cool. What's like we don't usually talk about like what's next on the docket, but there's so many things. What is kind of the next, like, is Starfield the next big one for you, or are you going to go into something else? Okay.
It's Starfield. Yeah, absolutely. It's pretty much as soon as this podcast is done, I'm going to load it up and start playing some. That's my weekend game. And yeah, I'm excited for Starfield. Absolutely.
Nice.
Let's do some news. Announced just today, the Embracer Group has shut down Volition Games.
Oh, okay.
You'll know Volition Games as the Saints Row people.
Yeah.
They've been a studio for 30 years. I didn't know that part, but they closed them down. So those people are out of jobs, which is a bummer. I mean, that last Saints Row game I didn't like very much. I know they even did like a big overhaul on the combat. I still didn't care for that game very much. I didn't finish it. Despite it having co-op, we were both just like, nah, this is not doing it for either of us.
Yeah. There, I guess like a lot of hope was probably on that game for them.
Probably they went for a big reboot. So yeah. Just kind of from me scrolling around on Twitter to some of the developers who got laid off.
Mm-hmm.
I guess because they did it today, which is a Thursday, and you would think typically this stuff would kind of come either at like the end or the beginning of the week.
Yeah.
If they had waited till tomorrow, it would mean that they would have had to continue all the developers' like health insurance for September.
Oh,
But because they did
yeah.
it today, their health insurance ends today.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Fuck those guys, I guess, is what Embracer's saying.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean,
Anyways.
Saints Row to me hasn't been good for like 10 years or so, but like nobody deserves that. Like it's not that bad. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I liked Saints Row 3 and 4 a lot.
Those were 10 years ago.
I know I was gonna say, but I did not play the Get Out of Hell expansion. I did not play Mayhem, whatever that other game was.
Agents of Mayhem.
Agents of Mayhem. I didn't play that. I heard it was real bad. The Saints Row one I wasn't super into. So they had a couple like misses in a row. So just a bummer. Like that studio has been around for a while.
I know Nathan really liked that new Saints Row, so he's going to be bummed to hear this.
Weird. Yeah. Okay, the PlayStation Portal once again announced today. We got a release date of November 15th, and pre-orders are now live for it, so people can go ahead and do that.
Oh, all right.
Kind of surprised they didn't make a bigger deal about that, but
I didn't even know about it till just this minute. So yeah.
Yep. Speaking of PlayStation Plus is increasing its prices.
Yes.
I think it's across the board by 30%, which is such a huge jump.
Yeah, I saw the one is up from 120 to 160, is it?
Yeah, they have the 3 here. So the service is annual. So if people remember, PlayStation Plus has tiers now.
Yeah.
The essential plan will go from this is the annual price, from $60 to $80. The extra plan goes from $100 to $135, and the premium plan goes from $120 to $160. New pricing goes into effect September 6th. If you're currently subscribed to Plus, Sony says the price increase won't take effect until your next renewal date or after November 6th. But if you make any changes, such as upgrades, downgrades, or buying additional time, you'll have to pay the new rate. That's such a crazy jump, and I think we think of Game Pass, which also did a price increase recently.
Game Pass gives you day one games. Like Game Pass is just so much better, even at their price. So
I mean, PlayStation Plus does do day one games, not PlayStation first party day one games.
Yeah,
but there are some smaller indie games that do come out day one on there. But and to the point I was making a second ago, Game Pass did a price increase, I guess 2 months to the day that this was announced ago. It did like what, $2 was the increase? Like less than 20% easily. Like it was a tiny thing. It's crazy how big of a jump this was.
Yeah.
And it makes me think. I go back to when this first got like leaked and first got announced, and we were talking like, this seems like a bad deal.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna have to come out of the gate, you would think, wanting to like match or be better than the current competition, and they came out worse at a higher price. And it was like, what? And now they're increasing the price yet again, even though I think across the board everyone is saying this is worse than Game Pass. But the fact of the matter is, Sony's beating Microsoft.
Yeah.
So they can do whatever they want. They're selling more consoles than Microsoft.
Yep.
So more people own PlayStation 5s over Xbox Series consoles, so they can raise the price and people are still going to pay it looks like. Which is just pretty nuts. And then
crazy.
And then while Microsoft is trying to buy Activision, Sony's still out there saying like, "Oh, but it's going to hurt us. Oh, come on. But what about us? We're just a little guy."
Yeah. Fucking Sony.
I bet they were holding off on this price jump to get past some of the Activision Blizzard stuff. Like once they got to the point where they were like, "Okay, this is clearly going to happen. We've done our big fight." And they were like, "Okay, raise the price. Now we it doesn't matter how bad we look anymore because the court case is done."
Yeah.
But anyways, so if you're primarily on PlayStation, enjoy losing some more money, I guess. I hope PlayStation Plus gets better for you to make up for this.
Yeah, no kidding.
Maybe at this price, they'll start putting first-party titles in. Like, that would completely change this narrative.
Yeah. I mean, if they match what Game Pass is doing, like, that would be great.
I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
Okay, a Rugrats game got announced today, and I thought that was newsworthy.
Sure. I mean, I didn't know about it, so...
Rugrats Adventure in Game Land. It looks kind of like a Bonk's Adventure clone. Art style.
Okay. Yeah.
This is being developed by Wall Ride Games, which previously released the Jay and Silent Bob Mall Brawl beat 'em up.
Yeah. Okay.
I just thought it was just kind of interesting of all the properties doing a Rugrats one, and I'm a fan that it's 2D graphics as opposed to the horrible polygonal thing that they did for that Paramount Plus show that I never watched.
Yeah, I never watched that either. I had kind of blocked that out, actually. Wow.
I didn't hear anything about it. I just watched the trailer, and I thought it looked artistically real bad, and I was like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't need this in my life.
This trailer makes this game look great. I definitely want to play this.
I think it looks like, Stu's there, the grandpa's there, like Reptar. Of course, Reptar's there.
Yeah.
I don't remember when they were fighting a purple gorilla. I don't remember that episode, but there's a purple gorilla here.
Is Mr. Fiend in here? I think I see him on the cover.
Which one's Mr. Fiend?
It's that stupid doll that Stu made to be. It was Mr. Friend, but they can't.
Oh, I did see that further on in the trailer, and it seemed familiar, but I was like, I don't know what that thing is called.
Hell yeah. What it is. That was a great episode. That was their horror episode.
Are you talking about the thing at around 56 seconds? Are you looking at this trailer?
It just closed. Let me take a look here.
Like Tommy looks like Tommy throws one of them at one of them?
No, that's the cat robot from the beginning of the show that he sprays milk at.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay, I don't know what Mr. Fiend is.
Mr. Friend is, I think he's a clown. Let me just quickly Google him. Yeah, he's the creepy clown robot.
That is creepy.
Yeah, it is.
I don't remember this though, but it's been a long time since I've seen
that episode's so
Rugrats.
Good.
This is what I want. I want at the beginning of each level it to go "Papa."
Yep.
That's what I want. If they can do that, then I'm gonna play this game.
Sold. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. When does it come out? Does it say? I didn't pay attention.
I didn't hear about
2024.
Date, so.
It just says. Damn. Okay.
I'm gonna look forward to.
Yeah.
Much like a possible Beyond Good and Evil remaster.
Man, when's that second game coming out though? Jesus.
Who knows? To be fair, I actually think this might be a smart move because it kind of gets us a bunch of interest back up in the property before the sequel comes out. You know, this is exactly what Alan Wake just did.
Totally, yeah.
And as myself, someone who is probably going to play Beyond Good and Evil 2, just because of it's such a legendary thing at this point, I would like to be a part of that zeitgeist. Having never played Beyond Good and Evil, this is the perfect entryway for me to get caught up before a sequel comes out.
Sure, yeah.
But an ESRB rating, which I guess has now been taken down, was spotted for a Beyond Good and Evil 20th Anniversary Edition. So there's a good chance this is real. But still, absolutely no info about 2 came out around the same time. So we'll have to see. No real info about it, just that it exists. Coming to all platforms. Pretty much. I guess the platforms listed were everything except the Xbox One. PS4 was listed, so that's just kind of weird.
That is weird. Huh. Okay.
Anyway. That's a good question in the chat. What's more likely to come out? The Beyond Good and Evil remaster or the Sands of Time remake?
The remaster, I think, because I'm convinced that Sands of Time remake is never happening.
Yeah, that thing, who even knows, you know?
Yeah.
Speaking of which, though, that new Prince of Persia, that game looks great. I want to play that.
I definitely would rather.
Does that have a release date? Is that next year?
I don't know. I definitely want to play that over a remake of Sands of Time currently.
Crown? That's January of next year. Okay, so not too
awesome.
far off.
That's great.
Okay.
I'll play that.
Anyway, that's news. Let's do some emails, some questions. topdownperspective@gmail.com is the email address, at TDP Podcast on Twitter, the Discord channel, or John's P.O. Box. Dead writes, crew TDP ahoy, food critic is here, ready to enjoy the 3-course meal you're about to serve them. Oh, I guess we didn't mention John's at PAX West, that's why he's not here.
Yeah.
I was thinking it now as they said 3-course. So if you're at PAX West, say hi to John. Tell him to come back on the podcast. What are you doing, man?
Yeah, we miss him. Bring him home.
Okay, a food critic is here, ready to enjoy the 3-course meal you're about to serve them. If you fail to satisfy them, one of your co-hosts dies. Yikes. What do you cook for this critic?
Okay, so
it's got to be something you...
The question is, what can you cook for somebody that, might, be good?
Or also just kind of lowest common denominator. What's the chance they're going to like it no matter what? And I think pizza is the option. I have to make it from scratch, though, because I can't make pizza from scratch.
Yeah, because we're going to... I guess it doesn't say... what do you cook for them? So, yes, you'd have to make the pizza, which I guess I could try my hand at. I don't think the first time I make a pizza is good. I want it to be the time that somebody might die. If the guy says
you're going to make it from scratch, I'm going to be saying goodbye to one of my co-hosts. I'm just...
yeah.
There's nothing I can do.
So, what's a 3-course meal you could make for
from
somebody?
Scratch?
Yeah.
Well, how scratch are we talking? Do I have to make the pasta from scratch? Do I have to
No, I don't think that far.
But if it's pizza, I have to make the dough.
Can you buy just a pizza shell? I'm sure you could. Yeah. Sure, why not?
You can buy just pizza crust for sure.
You could probably
make your
do
own
that.
Pizza. I do that all the time.
Actually, you could just make a flatbread pizza too. You could do that. That's fine.
Okay, I still think pizza is lowest common denominator. I've never met someone who dislikes pizza.
Yeah. The thing that's throwing me off is food critic. So it's just whatever I cook them, it's not going to be up to their standard anyway. So
Well, okay, maybe here's an important point.
Uh-huh.
We just have to satisfy them. So we don't have to blow their mind. We don't have to surprise them.
Yeah.
They just have to be satisfied. I feel like that's a lower bar.
And it still has to be a 3-course meal.
My
problem is, like, what do you do? I don't really know an appetizer. I could do like a French onion soup or something. Those are pretty good. Those are filling too.
I can't do that. I pretty much can't make any soup. As someone who does not like soup, I have very little experience in making soup.
Can you make a salad?
Again, so if I'm just who can't make a salad? Again, do I have to make it from scratch? Do I have to grow this lettuce? Okay, if we take the from scratch thing out of there, and I'm just trying to pick 3 foods that I think could satisfy someone. Again, I'm going lowest common denominator. I'm going mozzarella sticks, pizza,
okay,
and ice cream. Vanilla ice cream. Everyone can be happy with vanilla ice cream.
Yeah, I don't know what I would make for a dessert either, actually.
I mean, there's no way I'm making the ice cream, but I will
take
it out of the tub and put it in a thing.
Yeah. I guess I would do, for a start, a French onion soup, maybe a nice steak with like asparagus or something for a dinner, and then I don't know, an apple crumble or something for dessert. This is like assuming I have the ingredients for everything. With the ingredients I have now, motherfucker's getting like Nutella on toast and like a glass of milk for dessert or something.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I don't know. I think one of you are dead, or me. I guess it just says one of us is dying.
Well, you wouldn't call yourself a co-host.
A co-host.
The co implies, someone else, right?
Yeah. Rasterman writes, "Oh no, evil wizard has been involved in a bit of legal trouble and his oracle machine has been confiscated. This magic artifact has the ability of looking up information based on a prompt, much like a web browser does. The thing is, the information comes dated from 1/1/2050, aka 27 years or so in the future as of writing this question. Due to bureaucracy and whatnot, you're given 3 tries to use it. What are your 3 prompts? Are any of them video game related? Do you look yourself up in it?"
I don't think any of them are going to be video game related.
No, I mean, they're definitely like something about when the world's going to die or how I can make a shitload of money tomorrow. Like, why would I look up myself? I don't give a fuck about that.
I might look up myself.
I wouldn't. I don't care. I don't want to know when I'm like, if I look myself up 27 years in the future and it's an obituary from like 2024, I'd rather not know that.
But at that point, you could avoid it?
Like how I died? Yeah, maybe. Because an obituary would say
if your obituary was just like, oh, if only he hadn't left the house and walked into traffic on March 1st, 2030, and it's just, stay home that day.
A strange piano accident falling onto him or something.
Yeah, unless it's like Final Destination rules, where no matter what,
death is after
you. Avoid the first, death is after you. You've been marked.
Yeah. I'd rather not know. Just straight up.
So then, what is the prompt you write? Because you could try and go like the stock way of like, who's about to get real big? What is like the new company that you should buy a bunch of stock in now for when they explode and then you're rich? What's the prompt you write?
I think my prompt...
Richest Fortune 500 companies?
I think my prompt would be biggest money-making venture in 2025 or something. Like, I need some lead-up time just in case it's something I need to, like, work towards, I think, as well. Just something to, like, maybe... Or even 2024 is probably fine. Just something where I, like, have a head start in, like, what the thing is of being, like, on the ground floor of something.
Well, you would want to look it up. You're going to get it from 2050. So I think you want to... The further out this thing gets rich, the cheaper the stock's going to be for you to buy it
specifically. Yeah, I was just thinking,
if you just look up if you look up like Fortune 500 companies now, and so it gives you whatever the Fortune 500 companies are on January 1st, 2050. You look at the top ones, and let's just say they're stuff you've never heard of. And now you living your day in life, every day you're Googling those names, trying to learn about them. To the minute you can start buying stock or investing, it's like, oh, this thing is finally on the map.
Yeah, A lot of lead up time would be good. Yeah. I think
I'm
you
sure
would.
it's not going to pay you immediately.
That's
but in
fine.
27 years, you know you're going to be, or sooner. You know, at some point within 27 years, you're going to go. It's going to be awesome.
I still think I definitely want like it to be within a year or two of like now, just so like I don't forget it or something. Like I want to be able to start the process or whatever. Like I wouldn't want to
write yourself a note.
I wouldn't want to be like, what's the biggest company? Oh, they started in 2047. It's like that's too far. What's a big company that exists in 2050?
That's why you
started
look
in
at like a
2020.
list of them.
Yeah.
Now the other facet of this is like, okay, so it's a genie doing it. So what's the like twist? How's this going to bite you in the ass that you need to be thinking of?
Oh, I mean, it's a simple like time paradox rules, right? Like that's what happened, but now that you know, it's going to change because, like, yeah, you altered fate, so everything changes now.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So like because you bought this stock,
of,
like they failed or for some reason or something.
Yeah, like somehow you brought too much attention to it. In some scenario,
because you talked about it on a podcast in 2025 or whatever, and then a bunch of people jumped in on it, and now it's worth nothing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then in that scenario, maybe the like trying to avoid your death one
might be
better
best.
because it's not. Because then that way you're not like impacting. You know, there's no other outside forces. You just know that you need to take a left instead of a right when the day comes.
Sure. And you take the left into another death because death waits for nobody.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
Suka writes. Oh, you have more?
No, go on.
Suka writes, you feel something wrong in your bones, as if the world has changed. You go to a mirror, only to find a genie in the reflection.
Uh-huh.
What does that mean? Am I like blue now? Like,
you ain't never had a friend like me.
Do I have like earrings or something? Like what is this genie? Okay, anyway. I have a tail, like my feet turn into like a wisp. You have become your own worst enemy. What do you do with your newfound genie powers?
I guess wait in a fucking lamp for like 1,000 years until someone rubs it. What do you mean?
Like, never go near a lamp? Like, because you're going to get trapped?
My new genie powers are serving somebody. What do you mean? What am I going to do with them?
That's what I'm thinking. It's like, do you avoid everyone so that you don't get trapped in a lamp or become someone's like slave?
Yeah. I never leave my house now. Awesome. Actually, that does sound pretty sick.
What was the rules? What were the rules for the genie in Aladdin? So, because Aladdin used the third wish to set the genie free, right?
Mm-hmm.
If Aladdin had used the third wish not to set him free, what happens to the genie?
I think the lamp like magically gets obscured again until someone else finds it. Isn't it?
It just teleports away?
I think
he's trapped into the lamp until it's discovered?
Forever, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
I think. Which is bad. That sucks, man.
So then, you know, that kind of contradicts our whole genie lore of the genie always trying to trick us, because wouldn't the genie's best like plan be somehow making us wish them free?
I guess.
Unless the genie likes this eternal prank that it gets to do on everyone.
I mean, if you have nothing else going on for you, it would be pretty sick to just like fuck with the dude who asked for stuff.
Yeah, but you get to do that for what, like a week, and then you're trapped in a cave.
Yeah,
for 1,000 years until another grave robber finds you.
I wonder if like, are you awake? Is it like a coma or something where you just don't even realize you exist until like time changes, or are you like just waiting in there?
I think you're just waiting. I can't remember exactly how the genie like spoke about his time in there, but I feel like when he came out of the lamp, he was like, I'm free. Like there was a thing about like he is now out of that lamp and he's happy about it, right?
Yeah. I'm trying to find out like what are the rules of being a genie, but I don't know. I'm getting a lot of weird answers here, so maybe it's not a great rabbit hole to go down right now.
I think you don't want to be a genie and you don't want to interact with a genie.
Yeah, I mean, I think so.
There's nothing good on either end about interacting with a genie.
Yeah, so apparently what happens to a genie after 3 wishes? This is on a celebrity.fm wiki, by the way, so you know, the hot genie articles. At the point the owner of the bottle has asked or received his or her wishes, they can pass on the bottle to a new owner who will also receive the wishes. If the bottle owner loses a bottle before all wishes are asked, the genie stays trapped in the bottle, apparently.
Okay.
What the fuck is this site?
Wait, but it sounds like the genie's always trapped in the bottle.
Forever, yeah.
And I don't know if I agree with that, because that implies the only way for the genie to come out of the bottle is when you rub it. And if you don't do your wishes, like I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, celebrity.fm. I don't know how accurate you are.
I've never even heard of that site until just now, so who knows?
Yeah, neither have I. I would have assumed that's a porn site.
True. VGC Kenny writes, you get invited to do a TV interview. You talk about what the people want to talk about, and that goes well. The interviewer asks you for some final thoughts. You decide to recommend one video game to those watching out of the blue. What video game are you recommending to the audience of this interview?
I'm trying to think of something that's going to be easy to grasp, but maybe they haven't like heard or played of it before. I'm probably picking like Journey.
Yeah, okay. I'm trying to think of like, do you just go with something that's recent? So it's like, you want to get into video games, you can be part of the zeitgeist right now, go pick up Starfield, it's out now. Like, do you want to take that route, or do you want to go like, for anybody watching, this is like the most important video game in the world, so you got to pick up Super Mario Brothers 2 for the NES. Just like,
it's like if you put Mario, people are gonna be like, "Oh yeah, I've heard of Mario," and they'll probably have an easy time with Mario, but I just don't think it's like super interesting.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm doing more of a service that's like, hey, there's a good chance you haven't heard of this game.
Of Journey.
I think the Journey's a good one. Maybe even like the Stanley Parable.
Yeah, the Stanley Parable is very cool.
I want to do one. I want to pick ones that would like, they would almost be surprising to someone who maybe doesn't have who has maybe one like preconception of what games are.
Right.
That's what I'm assuming this audience is.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Is they might not be like, capital G gamers. They might not be sweaty gamers is what I'm saying, so.
Right. As of right now, I would probably just recommend Baldur's Gate. I think there's enough in there for anybody to maybe find something.
Like Baldur's Gate 3?
3 specifically, yeah.
That's a rough start, man. I play a lot of video games. I don't know if you know this about me. I play a lot of video games.
Yeah.
That's a rough start. There's a lot in that game.
There's a lot in that game.
Phantom Aegis, with our last question, ahoy TDP crew, you have all previously discussed about what years have been the best in games, but what about other medias? Do you have a favorite year of films, music, shows, and more? You don't have to answer every media. It can be anything that isn't games. Oh, man.
Yeah, probably.
Trying to find, I did make, top 10 lists for movies. I'm trying to see how many of those I have easily accessible. I log into my Google account.
Yeah. Movies is probably the one I would go to as well. I'm trying to think of a specific year.
Oops. And I've now tried logging in twice, and it still won't let me log in. Okay, here we go. Movies of the year. Where's my movies of the year list? Okay, I have 2021. That year was okay. I apparently did not do a 2020 list, but I have a 2019 list. 2019 is pretty good.
Was it? What was some 2019 highlights?
I have a few lists that are just not numbered, and then I have 2013. These are
wow.
2019 was like Knives Out, Avengers Endgame, Toy Story 4, Parasite, Claws.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty good.
It's a really good one for me. I don't know which. Let me look up one of these so that I can figure out what year this is. Why don't I have a... Oh, this is 2014. 2014 is pretty good. That's Grand Budapest Hotel. That's the Lego Movie. That's Captain America 2. That's the first Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
That's pretty good.
Man.
Is it 2010 or 2011? I also remember really liking. I guess 2010. Let me look up movies in 2010.
Yeah, I'm looking up 2010 right now.
Okay, so 2010 has Inception, Scott Pilgrim, Black Swan, Kick-Ass, Social Network.
Yeah, 27
These are a lot of movies
was
I
good.
really like.
Yeah, that was a good year.
2010 that's a pretty big one for me.
Yeah.
Easy A, that's another really good movie.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
That was Toy Story 3 and How to Train Your Dragon. That's my favorite year in movies. There you go.
2010? 2010 is a really good one. Yeah, those you named a bunch of really good ones. Is there anything in 2011? I'm curious now. 2011.
Oh, that was Sucker Punch. The movie's bad.
Oh man, Sucker Punch. Yeah, that definitely was a movie.
That was Rise of the Planet of the Apes, Nathan's favorite movie of all time.
Man, he saw that movie so many times.
Yeah. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I'm kind of going through a list right now. Like,
you're probably thinking of Green Lantern?
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking. That in time. No, there's like a bunch of movies here that I don't... There's a lot of movies here I don't think were necessarily terrible, but I don't think there was any that, like, blew me away in 2011.
Okay, here's ones that I actually really like from 2011. X-Men First Class.
Oh, I hate that movie.
I love that movie. Fast Five, I really like.
I don't remember. Is that the Brazil one?
Yeah, that's the one where they
yeah.
That's where they introduced The Rock. That is honestly probably the best Fast and Furious movie.
Rango was that year apparently. I liked Rango. That was fun.
Okay. Hugo's not bad. I haven't thought about that movie in a long time. I'm still giving it to 2010.
Yeah. I mean, of those two for sure. Cabin in the Woods might be like the one from 2011 so far I've seen that I thought was amazing. But yeah, 2011 kind of sucks. Holy shit. Like, there's so little. Wow. 2010 was very good. That's a very good year.
All right. That's going to do it for questions. If you'd like to send in one for next week, it's topdownperspective@gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Twitter, the Discord channel, or John's P.O. Box. What is your game of the week?
Baldur's Gate.
And mine is Immortals of Avium.
Nice.
We'll see you guys next week. John should be back. Thanks for watching and listening. Bye.
See ya.